he sort of looked me over, and we were going to wrestle that night. And he said to me, Jimmy, he says, just remember this. He said, if I ever get behind you, you are screwed. 41 years later, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you right now, Pat never got behind me. Also, I do have a book also called Matlands that I wrote last year. It's a wonderful book, no edgy stuff, but great stories about the road. And you know, when Greg and I first met, we were 17 years old. We were walk-ons at the University of Minnesota. Played for Murray Warmath. I was a wide receiver and Greg was a quarterback. And we actually did very, very well compared to some of the other players that they had brought in on scholarship and were, you know, all state in Florida and Virginia. And we actually did a real good job. So the next year I was playing wide receiver and they moved Greg to a safety, and Greg says, I'm going to go to Wyoming and play quarterback. So he left. I continued at the University of Minnesota. Tried a little free agent tryout as Greg did. I was with the Redskins, he was with Atlanta Falcons. Came back, I was going to go to school, get my degree. Greg called me and said, my dad's going to have a camp. And I thought, well, I don't know much about pro wrestling or wrestling period. I did some intramural wrestling in high school. So I thought, what the heck, it's something athletic and, you know, maybe I can do it. So his dad had some faith in me, and like they mentioned before, we had Ric Flair, Cosgrove Waziri. Where's Kenny Patera? Over here! My dear buddy, we were all together, Greg and Bob Rogers. We had a hell of a camp. We had Billy Robinson, the late Vern Gagne, the great Vern Gagne, who trained us. And the reason why we had such a good tag team is because we had unbelievable talent. I mean, when you think of Nick Bockwinkel, Bobby Heenan, the Crusher, Ray Stevens, Pat Patterson, Bobby Heenan, superstar Billy Graham, and Larry Hennig. There's Larry over there. I call him Dad. He used to beat the shit out of me every night until I learned how to make a comeback. And God dang it, I hated to work with him. But I love him now. So, you know, it was wonderful, and being in the AWA, we got spoiled because both Greg and I had the opportunity to work with this tremendous talent in this business, and doggone it, it was hard to have a bad match. We had good matches every single night, so it was, you know, I was there off and on for 10 years, and it was a great opportunity for me. Greg and I have had a lasting friendship for 50 years. He introduced me to, actually his blind date introduced me to my wife, Mary, and we've been married 41 years. I'm very thankful for our kids. Jenny, my daughter, Jimmy, my son, my son-in-law, Chris Babbage, is handling the merchandise. And I just want to acknowledge two other people here before Greg takes over. Tonight we're honoring the very great and late Nick Bockwinkel, and I want to tell you, there wasn't a world champion, and there was plenty of great world champions, but who had the dignity and class and believability of this man. Over his reign as world champion, he was just incredible. So God rest your soul, Nick, and God bless you. And another thing too, a lot of people ask me, you know, all the different times, you know, 25 years in this business, and there was a lot of talent. The Funks were incredible. The Briscoes were incredible. Nick was incredible. Bobby Orton Jr. There were so many different guys that were just unbelievable in the ring, and you had great matches with them. But somebody asked me, who is the very best? And I thought, and I wrote this in my book, and the man who I consider the best talent that I got in the ring with was here earlier, and it was Bobby Heenan. Because no other man had the ability, the microphone, the timing, the finesse in the ring, and the talent that he brought to the ring every single night, sometimes three or four times, and he all added to their stature and also added to their wealth. So God bless you, Bobby. I know you're resting now, but I want to thank you all, and I'm going to give my partner the traditional hot tag right here.
I don't think it matters who got the hot tag. That was one thing that we had going for us. I believe we were friends in college, friends in wrestling, and Jim was just a phenomenal partner for me. We just really jived together. First of all, I'd like to thank the Cauliflower Alley Club and the board of members that voted us this great honor of being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and B. Brian Blair. I know you're responsible for it, and you should be up here too. You were a partner at Jim's. Oh, right, there you are. You keep moving around. But Brian, you know, you could be up here too. If it wouldn't have been for Jim, I call him the Bernie Sanders of professional wrestling. He tried to start a union up there when he was working with the WWE, and pretty soon he was back home. So cut your reign short, I think. Right, Bernie?
Yeah, that's right.
And then, you know, wrestling is a hard life, and you have to have a great family. And I've got, this is tough. Yeah, I said, anything get this hard. My son, JP, stand up. Academic scholarship at the University of Notre Dame. Graduate cum laude, played 4 years on the baseball team. There was a walk-on, played in the College World Series, drafted by the Colorado Rockies, and got his master's degree in finance and business. Is now president of fixed income for Morgan Stanley in Chicago. I'll make it through this. My daughter. Gail, don't start. Graduate at the University of Northern Colorado, played basketball there for 4 years. Graduated journalism and broadcasting degree, and I got her master's degree in science, sports science. I got that one right, finally. Gail, stand up. She's just a doll. The third one is Peter. Peter went to the University of North Dakota, played baseball up there for 4 years, graduated in a degree in sports management. For the last 2 years, he's been the #1 in sales in his region for Mitsubishi. He does a fantastic job. Peter, please stand up. And the reason I did all that is because this is the one.
Well, just as Greg had the influence of me finding my wife, Mary, I introduced him to the love of his life, Mary, as she was a stewardess on Northwest. And as we got on the plane, I'd seen Mary because she was involved in our fraternity at the University of Minnesota, so I greeted her and she says, "Who's that?" I said, "That's Mary Grazinger." He said, "You want to introduce me to her?" And I said, "Sure." So they've been married 42 years. So I think Greg's going to finish this out, but
I'm going to try. Okay. Mary was the backbone, and that's why I gave Dale the education background of the kids, because her goal when I was on the road was to make sure that they got to all the events, all their activities, they got good grades, and made sure they got their college degree. Mary has just come off of pancreatic cancer surgery, and toughest woman I ever known. In the AWA, and had an opportunity to work with some of the greatest professionals of all of wrestling. And I just wanted to name off some of the teams that we got to go against. Lars Anderson and Buddy Wolf, Lord Alfred Hayes and Roger Kirby, Nick Bachwinkle, Ray Stevens with Bobby Heenan, Adrian Adonis and Jesse Ventura, Baron von Grashkian, Jerry Blackwell and Ken Patera. Ken was fantastic in that ring, and so was Blackwell. Jack Lance and Bobby Duncan, Bob Orton Jr., all managed by the greatest manager, and Jim already said it, Bobby Heenan, who is, he's the man, guys. There's nobody that ever do better than him. Rick Martell and Tito Santana, Ray Stevens, and Pat Patterson. I just got to talk about one quick match we had in Denver, Colorado. You'll never see this happen again in professional wrestling. Denver is a fantastic town to wrestle in. In the building, when you come out, it just kind of vibrates. And we've got Pat and Ray in there. And for 8 minutes, Pat and Ray had Jim and I in a top wrestle out. Never threw a punch, never threw a kick. We'd fight out of it, they would pull our hair or pull our tights and get us back in that top wrestle out. Now this is professionals game, because at 10 minutes, we had a full-fledged riot in Denver, people trying to get in the ring and save Jim and I. And that's because of Pat Patterson and Ray Stevens and the timing and the way they could perform in the ring. There was nobody better. A couple others, and Big Bad Bobby Duncan was fantastic, and Stan Hansen, Blackwell and the Sheik, the Road Warriors, the Freebirds, Saruta and Tenaru, Bubba, Giant Bubba, and Dory Funk Sr., or Jr., I'm sorry, not Sr., he was past us. Stan Hansen, King Kong Brody, the Valiant Brothers, Steamboat Youngblood. Those are some of the teams that we faced over the years, and they're the people that helped make the High Flyers who they were. And again, thank you very much. It's a great honor. And this one is for our 2 trainers, Vern Gagne and Billy Robinson, who put 6 hours in a day, 6 days a week for 3.5 months. And Vern